Welcome to The Ascended Table, the podcast where we blend science-backed advice with supernatural secrets and deeply personal stories to help you build the life you truly desire. If you've ever felt like there must be a deeper level to health, success, and personal power, you're in the right place. Get ready to pull up a seat. The truth is being served. This is The Ascended Table. Welcome to The Ascended Table. I'm Casey Sly.
I'm Christian Sly.
And I'm Cindy Lee Cassell.
Today, we're diving deep into the science and spirituality of manifesting your life that you truly want and how people just like you and me can use it to create and shape abundance. Plus, we're going to walk you through the 5 steps of manifestation and how you can bring this to your own life. I'm very excited about this topic, and let's talk about manifestation. What is manifestation?
You know, manifestation is simply consciously creating your own reality.
You know, it's not about buying that luxury car. It's about that alignment with your mind, body, and spirit.
This is like creating the life you really are truly meant to live in alignment with your soul.
It's like a blueprint for your life.
As a therapist, I see so many people held back by their unconscious beliefs. Sometimes their negative experiences or their traumas can actually block manifesting what they truly want. So the truth is we can rewire our brain for manifestation of a success.
It's so amazing, and I don't think people really understand this or know the power we have. Just as human beings, we're born with it. It's free. It comes with us, you know?
One of the things I think people fail to realize is we have the gift of willpower and the gift of will, and we actually are in control. Too many people, I think, try to be a leaf on the wind and just wait for the right thing to happen to them when they should realize they're in control. When they're in control, they're creating the blueprint. They're actually creating that path to success and the life that they want to live.
I like to think of it, it's like the angels like waiting, like, hello, where are my instructions?
Right.
Are you going to give them to me, or am I just going to?
Right.
I feel like that's really true, though, right?
They become like worker bees in a way, but very respectfully.
Yes. We're ready. Here we go. Christian wants this.
I bet it's pretty refreshing for them when they're like, oh, he knows what he wants in life, and he's
That's
telling
right.
us what he wants.
It's when you're sitting back and you're actually not giving them instruction is that people wait for things to happen and it never does. You have to give them the instruction, give them the blueprint, give them the desires, the needs that you're needing in your life, and then they start working behind the scenes, hooking it all up, making it all happen for you.
And you know, people do not realize the power they hold. They really can just truly get clear about what they want, what they need, what they want to bring forth in their lives. And when they start acting, thinking, and speaking in these ways, that actually manifests what they want. It's amazing.
I read a thing that said, we are most fearful of the power and our potential that we actually have.
That's right.
Rather than the fear.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's Marianne Williamson.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
One of the most critical things I've learned is that thoughts are things, just like I said before. And getting that in your brain and like really realizing your thoughts affect your reality, it's so important. There's people that talk negatively to themselves, and that creates a negative reality around them. But if you talk positively to yourselves, that creates a positivity around them.
It's so true. It is so easy to do, actually, if you just know how to do it. Manifesting is basically vibrating at the frequency you choose. If you choose success, then you vibrate at that successful level. If you are worried about things and you're always fearful all the time, then you're going to draw that to you instead.
And you know, Christian, another way of really talking about the energy is really, like Casey said, thoughts are energy, thoughts are reality. And so I have trained hundreds of people in this art of learning how to create what they want instead of what they don't. And it's simply by focusing on the things that they truly want to have, watching their languaging around it, checking their negative belief systems, and creating the focus around what they truly desire instead of what they don't.
You know, and I actually think that people don't actually define their lives. So people will plan a trip to Europe and know every single line item that they're going to do. Every single day they're going to have an itinerary. How much do we plan our lives like that?
True.
So what if you were thinking, I want to be the CEO of a very successful wellness company within the next 5 years? And you focus on that and you plan for it, just like a trip.
Right.
It's a really good example of how you mentally visualize that and then allow it to come into fruition.
Yeah.
A lot of it's not their fault if you think about it. A lot of people grow up in households where they were never given these tools. They were never around a positive atmosphere. And so I'm sure you see that a lot, that you have to overcome that and help people work themselves out of that and be able to choose those positive thoughts for the first time, maybe.
Absolutely. The patterns that we grow up with, we are what we were modeled.
Right.
And so generationally, if our parents or caretakers never had the information on how to do this, then we're not going to learn that information. So this kind of information, these kind of conversations that we're having can really reset the bar and help people know that there is a different way to actually create the things that they want. And Casey, your point is so important, because people don't create the lives that they want. They think they're victims to it, and that's not the truth.
And a lot of people struggle with thinking they don't deserve to have a high quality life because they were raised with, poor or whatever.
Right.
I wasn't raised in a wealthy family. I wasn't raised learning financial things or having big houses or anything like that. But I am probably one of the most positive thinking people I know.
I can attest to that. She keeps me on track sometimes too.
Yeah. And I think that positivity, and I felt limitless my whole life. Like I could do anything I want to do. I deserve to have these things. And I've seen it in action. I've seen it change my life dramatically. It's amazing.
Casey, tell the audience about what happened to manifest this gorgeous home that you guys live in now.
This is my favorite manifestation story.
It's pretty incredible, actually.
So we were in this rental house. We were about to get married. We were in this rental house that had been flooded a couple of times by us.
Well, it had mold issues before us too.
Yeah. But there was mold. It was growing. They weren't doing anything about it. We all were getting sick. I gained 20 pounds or 30 pounds. Our daughter was inflamed and so sick.
Skin irritations.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We were
Rashes.
like, we have to get out of this house. But it was the worst time to buy a house because it was when all the prices were skyrocketing. Everybody's trying to move here. And so
There were no houses available.
Yeah.
Right on top of an influx of people coming from all over the country.
Right.
But we were so desperate to get out of the house. We probably toured 50, 60 houses.
At least, yeah.
And I looked at our realtor and I said, exactly the house I want. Show me the house I want. You know exactly. We wasted all of your time. Show me the house you want. And he said, I know one coming on the market on Tuesday that's kind of perfect. I'm like, we want to be the first ones in. That was also manifesting it. I believe that was manifesting it. Because I was at that breaking point. I'm like, show me the house I want.
Well, the way that we knew the house that we want as well is we actually meditate together a lot. So we actually, in those meditations, we'd go into it, we'd share what we saw afterward. And it was incredible that we would actually see the exact same things. We would see the large windows, the studio spaces, having our own offices. These were all things that we really needed to be able to support our customers and do our production and do everything that we do. Being media people, we have to have room, we have to have sets. We have to have those things. And so we would come out of that and see the exact same things.
Multiple
colors,
times.
Wow.
the lighting. It was incredible.
Even the bridge. I saw a bridge one time. I'm
Wow.
like, how do we have a bridge in our house?
There we are.
It's the smallest bridge.
It's the smallest bridge, but it's white and it's a bridge. Like, we walked into this house. We were the first ones walking in. We looked at our two offices and we both looked at each other and said, we'll take it.
Yeah.
Put the first offer on the house. 5 people put an offer that day. Fortunately for us, we put it in first. We were in Italy,
We were
and
on our honeymoon in Italy when we found out that.
Wow.
the caveat is, even though we found our perfect house, we were going to have to come up with about 4 times the money we had prepared to put down.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars. We'll just say
Wow.
that.
This was a time where people were bonusing people to get into a house with Ferraris. Like, they were literally
Yes.
bonusing people a Ferrari if they would get the house.
That was the
you know?
level.
Wow.
And it was right after 2020. So it was like
Yeah.
It was the Wild West. They
Yeah.
could
The Wild
get
West.
whatever they wanted, if they want extra. So we went to work, and we manifested this very quickly from Venice. Is when we found out, wow, we have to come up with 4 times what we
In 2
really
weeks.
expected in 2 weeks.
And you were all surrounded by water there.
Yeah,
Yes,
right.
we were.
Water
This
is
is
so
a conduit.
conducive for spirituality, and so we manifested, and we said, "This is going to happen. We see it. We're in it. We built this plan, so we're going to live in this plan."
Right.
And we didn't worry about it at all. We went ahead and finished another week of our honeymoon.
We didn't try to.
We didn't
build
try to
it
get to
up.
work. We didn't sign anybody to go do it. We just said, when we come back, we'll deal with it. And we came back, and incredibly and thankfully, all of our clients came together and said, we want you in this house. It benefits everybody. It's a win-win for everyone. And they prepaid us for a year's worth of work. And we
Yes.
basically secured a ridiculous amount of down payment in 2 weeks.
Wow.
Down to the 2 minutes before.
They said we will cancel your offer if you do not have this amount of money in your bank at this moment. We were $14,000 off in the last 5 minutes. I was like,
What?
And we closed that in the last 2 minutes
No way.
of that 5 o'clock deadline.
that's my favorite story of manifesting. Like, if you do not believe in manifesting, I will tell you that story because
And it
you ever
benefited
heard-
everybody, actually.
Of
It
course.
benefited them, it benefited us, and it's continuing to benefit them now because now we have a studio and a sanctuary that works for everyone.
I love how God, the universe works.
Yeah.
You know, it's always, I've always heard this term, the last minute God. You know, it's like the faith you just had to hold out, and at the last hour, the last minute, it comes through.
And if you noticed how efficient he really is,
Yeah.
how that system works. You may manifest to have a certain type of success, but it might hook up 8 different ways that benefits you, 8 ways you didn't realize you even needed. I mean, it's that efficient, this system.
beautiful system too.
It really is. Once you're in line with this frequency-wise, and you're living from good intentions, and you're literally living a life that's positive, and your thoughts are flowing in a positive way, you're just gifted with that. So
It's all about good intention. Like, for the whole planet, we never have any ill thoughts towards other people. We want the best for everyone. We don't want to beat other people or win or step over them. And I find that having that good intention truly in your heart is the key to manifestation.
and sometimes it's a simple matter of seeing things differently, learning to do that. Like you're a painter now, and you're able to see things differently. And so tell about how you've actually learned to see things a little differently.
So Christian is a master painter. He had a full scholarship to Parsons in Paris. Okay, so
Wow.
he was going to be restoring the historic paintings. That was what he wanted to do. Life had something else different for him. But anyway, so he's inspired me to learn to paint. I've been creative and artistic-ish, not compared to him. But something came over me recently. I think it's the negativity of all the politics and stuff. I had to just do something that made me feel good. I was like, Christian, I want to paint. Teach me to paint. You're a teacher. And that level of detail, like when I'm starting to paint, and like I'm learning shadows, and I'm learning light, and I'm learning, oh, this is this shape. These are this shape. When I started learning that and paying attention to that beauty, I started seeing it more and more out, like in nature. I was like, oh, those leaves, look at that light going through the leaves, but it's really beautiful. So it kind of shows that when you start looking for the nice, beautiful things in the world, you find them.
We'll be driving down the street, and she'll actually call out, something with repetition or something with color, how the light is coming through and changing things, and just noticing that. It's kind of in line with this manifestation thing, because it's just simply adjusting and shifting your thought patterns into a more positive light.
And what you're wanting to notice in life. And I think the art part of the creativity that we're talking about really taps into the spiritual art of manifesting.
Cindy's a famous painter as
We're all
well.
painters now.
We're all artists.
I grew up in this amazing creative environment. My dad was a very famous commercial illustrator, and so I grew up on the floors of his studio. And I've been painting since 1990. And this absolutely works, and I integrate it in my work as a therapist, doing art therapy, because it accesses both sides of the brain, right? We have the cognitive left side, and the right side is part of that healing, creative manifestation kind of part. And when you start creating, it helps you to focus and repetitively look at the details of what you're wanting to create. And we can bring that into a, kind of a form of looking at how to manifest your own life. What is it that I want to shift or transform or create? And it is just amazing. I have this amazing experience that I had when I was in a very negative, stressful part of our lives. And I was really wanting to create the sense of God's got this. And so what did I do? I went to my studio and I started painting creating an image of Christ, so that my attention was always focused on surrendering to the faith that this will work itself out. And lo and behold, within weeks, it just shifted. I was at peace. Was full of hope. And so this creativity is amazing in this manifestation.
So I just was recalling in Mary Poppins. So whenever who's the guy?
Oh, Dick Van Dyke.
Yes.
Yeah.
He is painting or doing the sidewalk chalk
Yes,
thingies and
yes.
creating these little worlds.
Yes.
And then they jump into it. That's kind of like manifestation. Like
It's true.
You draw out your world, you define it, you know what you want.
Yep.
And then you jump into it.
That's
Kind of
right.
a simple way of saying that.
I learned from a really, it's kind of a funny anecdote, but a spiritual person taught me one time, you visualize what you're going for, you create it, you visualize it, then you put it on your head and you wear it like a hat. And you go around every day and you have that on your head, and it works. It literally does. You visualize it and don't just leave it out there, because that's a mistake. You want to bring it in.
live it.
So you create it, you live it, you walk in it, and that's what works.
Absolutely.
And it's not complex. So
It's really not.
Let's give the listeners 5 ways or 5 steps to manifest, because I want to break this down, because it's not complex. It's just knowing what to do.
Right. Well, everything starts with your mind. You have to have a clear vision of what blocks your mind and where you want to go. So really look at the thoughts that create what we really want. And so we focus on that pathway of what is it, define it clearly, and then start taking steps to move towards that and create the focus of what you really want.
That's so true. And you also have to be very detailed, like you said in this. If you just say, I want to be successful, or I want to have a bigger house, it's too general. You need to be specific. You need to get in there. You need to visualize that house. You need to visualize your clients, whatever that success means to you. If it's winning the Super Bowl, you visualize it, you make it happen, you place yourself there, but be as detailed as you can.
Absolutely.
So there's not one exact science to manifesting, but we did break it down into 5 steps that kind of resonate with all of us. So let's give the listeners those 5 steps. So there's not one exact science to manifesting, but we did break it down into 5 steps that kind of resonate with all of us. So let's give the listeners those 5 steps. You want to start?
Yeah. The first step is to just clear your mind by getting in a state of meditation, a state of flow. These ideas could be something like walking or art or, deep breathing, anything that gets you into that state what is of it that I inward want? and upward focus.
That time where you can just actually just go inward, clear your mind of the to-do list
Yes.
and the things the bills that need to be paid. Just go inward, listen, and then go upward, like you say.
Exactly.
And listen from up there, because that's the first step. Your brain has to be clear, your mind has to be clear, right? Why is it so important that you have to start in that meditative state, like have a clear mind in order to move forward successfully in manifestation?
Well, first of all, we're like tuning forks. We actually have to create a vibrational frequency that is conducive for expansion of our soul, basically. And we have to move past something called monkey mind. We have all these external influences that actually affect us on a daily basis, and we have to learn how to move out of that and achieve what we call crystal clear thinking, at least further towards crystal clear thinking. I realize that's hard to do early on, but it's very important to be able to actually control your thoughts, and actually you're in control, you're in the pilot seat rather than everything else controlling you.
So one tool you gave me in the beginning that I use all the time is if you're having really a lot of trouble getting all those thoughts out of your mind, all those voices, all those songs, all those whatevers, I picture myself on an empty stage with nobody in the audience. It's just me on that stage. And Christian gave me this tool. And you sit there and you have each thought come through, and they're doing their dance for you, or they're singing the song for you. And you go, nope, go.
You give each one their own individual attention.
It helps so much. Like that's a great tool for me, just to clear my mind, because my mind is always going.
Right, and we can let go of the distractions by, like, an example of just watching a cloud float by. Thoughts, we can just let them go, and then we can refocus. Or a leaf going on the, floating down a stream. We can just let that go and then refocus if you have distractions that come.
One thing that we love to do, Joe Dispenza has some great meditations that are guided, and they're on YouTube, and they're just like all over. And they're specifically for like manifesting or Kundalini rising. They're very specific, but they have the great music. It helps clear the monkey mind and bring you inward. So if you haven't done that, that's a great way to manifest or meditate also.
We love you, Joe Dispenza.
We do actually. He's a scientist. He's a He's a physicist. Yeah. So that's why I love that. Right. All right. So let's move to step 2.
Okay, step 2 is all about creating good intentions. You have to create a workspace to do your manifestation around you. And the way you do that is you create good intentions. You're living out of love. You're living out of a place of wanting to help people, gratitude, no fear. You try to reduce, because fear tends to bog us down heavily. And that's one of the greatest things that actually creates a roadblock for us, is when we fear things. You have to remove the fear. We have to live out of gratitude. We have to be positive. Even when people aren't looking, you need to do the right thing, and that affects your soul. There's a lot of people that don't do that. And once you live from that space, you're tuning that tuning fork, and you are actually in a space now where you can create. And now you're creating from the seat of your soul rather than being controlled.
And the higher vibrations, like where we're looking to go, the success and meeting the right people, it's all a higher vibration of good intentioned, like-minded people that want to help the planet, that want to grow. You shouldn't be manifesting a Corvette. You should be manifesting a business that will help people's health or wellness, anything like that. Good intention, feel it in your heart, because you really have to feel it there to get the right manifesting goals and what aligns with your soul.
And if you're benefiting people in a good way and creating that for everybody, creating these win-wins, the spiritual world has a tendency to gift you even quicker.
Isn't it where the water rises, all the ships rise with it? Yeah.
We're all here for this purpose of rising the vibration and moving towards that loving state. That's really what this life is about, and all the lessons that we learn along the way.
That's right.
So once you're in that right place, it's much easier to manifest and, open up that energy and communicate with your higher self, your angels, however you want to say it. All right, so I'll do step 3. It's visualize and request. So once you're in that mind state, you have good intentions in mind, you're clear, you're not thinking about anything else, then clearly visualize what it is you want. Like, write it down. Like, if you're doing art, draw it out, like Mary Poppins and all that. That detail is so important, because that's your order. You have a detailed order at Starbucks or your coffee place. I want a two shot, no ice, sugar, whatever. Be as detailed as you are with your coffee order,
Right.
with your life.
Sure.
Visualize it. Feel what it feels like. So let's say I want to be a CEO of a company. I visualize myself walking in a suit, very nicely dressed. People love me because I treat them well, and I feel that sense of success and that sense of I'm helping people and finding success. That level of detail, walk into that, feel it, and then feel it with gratitude.
Gratitude is such a key element to this. That getting in the feeling of receiving and knowing that the universe and God is here to support us in all that we're trying to create is what will bring that energy forward and catapult us into the next phase.
And I realize that a lot of this to some people might sound really pie in the sky kind of ideas, but it truly works. I have literally worked with so many people. I've learned this from pro athletes, from actors, from CEOs, and this is how they do it. They don't talk about it, of course. They're not wearing it on their t-shirts, but they know it. They live it. They succeed from it. And that's how, in having these conversations with them, I've learned, wow, they're doing the same things. I should try this. And, at an early age in marketing and production, that's when I started adapting these myself. And so it's not just lofty ideas. This is a system that works. So I encourage you to really give it a try, even if it sounds a little weird to you.
There is a correlation between people that are successful and the principles that we're talking about. And so if it's just, we have learned so much from seeing the success of athletes and actors and CEOs and these big corporations. And if you go behind the scenes and study them, the correlation is these principles we're talking about.
And I even know of coaches, even in this Dallas-Fort Worth area, that actually are paid by athletes or entrepreneurs to help them manifest. Like literally, visualize yourself on the mound, you're the pitcher. Visualize where exactly the ball is going to go and visualize the crowd cheering. Like, it's a real thing. People pay for this, but you don't have to pay for it if you just do it yourself.
The fact is, the mind does not know the difference between what in the reality of what we are actually experiencing and what we project in our mind, in our visualization. The mind doesn't know the difference. And so if we can place the manifestation outcome that we want, the mind will follow.
That's right. Because it's just like noticing a beautiful flower, then you start noticing more beautiful flowers because your mind is going to go to where your focus is. Right. So that's step 3. And that's the most important step, I would say.
Where your mind goes,
energy flows.
Energy flows.
Right.
Another thing that's really important I want to add here is that you may have a request for something that you're trying to manifest. It might not be the right time, actually. Don't necessarily see it negative if it doesn't come through, because sometimes if you're working and you're working towards a goal and it feels like you're in the mud working uphill and nothing is working, the things aren't connecting, all the dots aren't connecting. Don't be discouraged by that. It just might not be that dynamic time at that point. So just be positive, stay with it, and when it becomes flowing again and the doors start flying open for you, the phone starts ringing in the right direction for you, okay, that timing is good. And I have chills right now actually thinking about that. I go by chills quite a bit as well.
I got chills.
And so that's something to look for, in this process.
Yeah, like if you're finding a lot of roadblocks, then that's not your path right now.
Right.
I kind of touched on this on the last step, but this is really important also. Is step 4 is to step into your new life. Live it like you're already there.
Wear it like a hat.
Wear it like a hat. Step into your new life.
It is already happened.
And be that person because you want to be that person.
So true.
So if you don't have a lot of money, but you want to have a lot of money, you want to have success, act like those people that you see and then surround yourself with the people you want to be like, because the 5 people you used to hang out with the most are going to be just like you. Those are your circle of influence.
The laws of attraction. Yeah. It works. They're real.
You show me your 5 closest friends and I'll show you who you are or who you're going to be.
That's exactly right.
So live that life and enjoy it with gratitude. And realize you deserve it and you're allowing it to happen.
So basically put yourself into a good space to achieve that. Create your instructions. send out the instructions, and then know the instructions are going to come into fruition.
Belief is such a huge part of this. We have to believe as if it is already happening with conviction. And, they talk about fake it until you make it. It really does work. We may not have the experience or the history that this has been our experience yet, but if we can literally, in our mind, go there and know without a doubt that this is, going to happen, you watch the doors that start opening. It's pretty exciting.
One of the things I love doing is teaching people this, and they come back 6 weeks later and they go, "Will you believe I'm practicing this now? And it's changed my life." And now I'm teaching this to my family members, my husband, my wife, and they're saying it's working for them too. They're getting promotions in life. They are actually succeeding and overall just happier in life. Because if you think about this, even if you're just taking these actions, your life is going to improve and you're going to feel better regardless of the goals coming your way.
One thing to think about is that we are not victims. We really can use these tools as creating the offensive moves to create the life we desire. And so that is so hopeful because so many people that I've worked with feel like they're victims. Sometimes circumstances happen to us that we didn't ask for.
Right.
However, we can shift the energy of that and move the flow in the opposite direction.
So,
It's just about positive thinking and realizing you're allowed to move where your soul feels the most aligned. So I love that step. And that is the last step that while you're in the meditation. And then the last final step is to accept it with gratitude. So,
gratitude is so important.
and let the universe take control. You've given them the instructions. You don't need to give them the detailed, map to the instructions. Trust that they will do the best thing for you that's in alignment with your soul.
And they might actually take you in a slightly different direction. But again, like I mentioned earlier, it might be more efficient than what you had planned yourself. They might take you into 8 points of success when you were only hoping for 1. So that's a beautiful thing about this system too.
So take those 5 steps. We've broken them down. I feel like it's a pretty good path to success, and start living your life with success and gratitude, good intention, and manifest the life that you deserve and you want. And thank you, listeners, for pulling up a seat at the Ascended Table. We hope this conversation has empowered you to take the first step towards the life you truly choose.
And we'll see you next time on
The Ascended Table.